If you're struggling to stand out as a financial advisor, it's not because your market is too small, but it's because you're trying to be everything to everyone. And here's the uncomfortable truth. You're actively limiting yourself by refusing to niche down. And I know it sounds backwards, but stay with me here, because I'm about to show you why the phrase riches are in the niches isn't just a catchy saying, it's backed by hard data that could completely transform your practice. Let me paint you a picture of what's actually happening in your market right now. There are over 283,000 financial advisors in the United States, and every single day you're competing with thousands of them for the same clients. You're all basically the same thing. I help people with their finances. I do retirement planning, investment management, tax strategies, everything. And your prospects, they can't tell you apart. You're probably spending around $16,000 a year on marketing, running ads, networking events, maybe even cold calling. And 85% of advisors say they can't even find time for marketing because they're just so busy trying to keep up with everything. When a prospect finds you, they're also talking to five other advisors. You sound exactly the same. So what do? They shop on price. They pick whoever charges the least or seems the most convenient. You're not winning on expertise, but you're in a race to the bottom. And here's the exhausting part. You're trying to be an expert in everything: retirement planning for teachers, stock options for tech employees, estate planning for business owners. How could you possibly be truly excellent at all of that? And the reality is, you can't. And nobody can. We're only human at the end of the day. So you end up being pretty good at a lot of things instead of being exceptional at something specific. And in today's market, pretty good just doesn't cut it. Now, here's where everything flips. According to CEG Worldwide, 70% of financial advisors who earn over $1 million annually focus on a specific niche or market segment. Even more striking research from Cerulli Associates found that only 15% of US advisors concentrate on a unique niche, but those practices account for 29% of all advisor assets. Let me say that again. 15% of advisors control nearly 30% of the money. And I know what you're thinking, but if I only serve tech employees, I'm turning away doctors, teachers, and everybody else in between. Isn't that limiting? But here's the mind shift. When you market to everyone, you essentially appeal to no one. Right now, you're just one of 283,000 advisors saying, I help people with money. You're practically invisible. But the moment you say, I specialize in helping physicians eliminate student debt while building wealth, suddenly every doctor who hears that thinks this person understands my exact, precise situation. You're not limiting yourself, but you're making yourself more visible to the people who need exactly what you offer. And here's the beautiful part. There's no geographic limit anymore. Thanks to the internet, you can now serve tech employees across the entire country, teachers in every state, and military families wherever they're stationed. Your market isn't limited to your city or even your state. It's national, and in some cases, international. A niche that seems small in your local area suddenly becomes massive when you think nationwide. And here's what happens when you niche. First, you develop deep expertise. When you're only working with tech employees, you become an absolute expert on RSUs, stock options. Your clients aren't getting generic advice, but they're getting precision guidance. Second, your marketing becomes almost effortless because instead of content that appeals to no one, you create laser focused content. Five ways teachers are losing money on their 403b performs infinitely better with teachers than five investment tips for everyone. Third, referrals start to skyrocket. When a teacher tells another teacher, you have to talk to this advisor, she only works with teachers and knows everything about pension maximization, that's gold. And fourth, you can charge premium fees. Specialists earn more than generalists in every profession. When you're the expert in your niche, price resistance disappears. So let's talk math now. Say you specialize in military families. There are approximately 2 million active duty service members and 18 million veterans in the United States. Even if you only capture 100 families at $5,000 per year, that's $500,000 in annual revenue. And because you're specialized, your client acquisition cost plummets. You know exactly where your clients hang out. You speak their language. You're not spray and pray marketing, you're precision targeting. Look at the most successful advisors. There's an advisor in Tennessee who exclusively serves pickleball players in one retirement community, and his practice is thriving. There are advisors who only worked with divorced women, only with airline pilots, only with professional athletes. These aren't limitations, these are strategic positioning decisions that make them unforgettable. Think about niching differently. Right now, you see it as a subtraction. If I focus on teachers, I lose out on doctors, engineers, business owners. But here's the reality, you don't actually have those other clients anyway. Again, you're competing against 283,000 advisors for them and losing most battles. Think about niching as multiplication instead. When you specialize, you multiply your expertise. You become the expert, not just an advisor. Look at your current clients. Do you have a cluster of similar people? Several small business owners, multiple healthcare workers? That clustering is your market telling you where your niche is. Now, if you have a past profession, maybe if you were a teacher or a doctor, an engineer before becoming an advisor, that's incredible and puts you at a massive advantage because you have instant credibility with people from that world. They trust you immediately because you've walked in their shoes. But if you don't have that background, no worries either. You can still build deep expertise in any niche you choose. Study their world, understand their challenges, speak their language, and talk to people in the space. The point is, you don't have to invent a niche from scratch. Look at where you naturally connect with people, where you provide the most amount of value, and sort of lean into that. I actually made a video that walks you through exactly how to figure out who you work with best and where you provide the most amount of value. And that'll be linked in the description below, so give that a look after this. Here's my challenge to you. Stop trying to be everything and everyone. The advisors earning seven figures aren't generalists grinding out. They're specialists who made the brave decision to focus. You're not limiting yourself by niching down. You're actually finally giving yourself permission to be exceptional at something instead of mediocre at everything. The riches are really inside of the niches. And the biggest thing limiting your growth right now isn't your market size, it's your unwillingness to choose one. So choose. Go deep. Become the advisor for your niche. Because in a world of 283,000 financial advisors, all competing for attention, the only way to win is to stop competing on their terms and create your own category. So, what's your niche going to be? Drop it down in the comments below, and don't forget to check out that video in the description about finding who you work best with. And if this shifted your perspective on specialization, share it with another advisor who needs to hear this message. Thank you so much for watching and have a good rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in.